Thank you, devotees. I'm not sure I have track of what we were discussing. It's been a lot of Damodar programs back and forth. So I'm a little lost. So Hariharan Prabhu, can you help me? What shloka should I speak on today?
I think it's 39, Prabhu. I'm also not sure.
Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, what if I take to spiritual life and I don't like it? And someone, I mean, not just putting himself in picture, but someone takes a spiritual life and he leaves it because he finds that too restrictive, or he gives it up, he strays, or he does not make complete advancement to the point one goes back to Godhead. So it's very clear from this shloka that unless one is completely purified, one cannot actually go back to Godhead. Krishna also mentions in the Gita, Yesham tu antakatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajanti mam dridhavrataha. So unless we are dvandva moha nirmukta, we are freed from this dvandva moham, one cannot take to dridhavrata bhakti, with very, very firm, fixed bhakti. Dridhavrata bhakti cannot be taken. So Arjuna is asking, so what will happen to this person? Will this person make any progress? Will he not be? He would also have forsaken all material association. So he wouldn't have any material friends. He wouldn't have material success. No name to his name. No fame to his name. No money to his name. No, he would have upset many people on the way in spiritual life. When we take to spiritual life, we have to upset people. Not we want to, but people get upset. Relatives get upset. Children get upset. Spouse gets upset. Many situations, right? And very natural, because anyone who's taken to Krishna consciousness, he will not want to serve anyone's sense gratification. And if you do not serve the people's sense gratification, then they will think you are their enemy, because that's how friends and enemies are born in this world. If I serve someone's sense gratification, they are my friend. If I don't, then they are my enemy. So that's how the people see you. So I would have made a lot of enemies on the way, and after all that, I still don't make it to spiritual life. so what is that? So I don't, I'm not here, I'm not here, I'm not there, I'm not here. So what happens to such a person? Etan me saṁśayaṁ Kṛṣna. Only you can dispel it, Krishna is telling. Etan me saṁśayaṁ Kṛṣna. I do not know who else can dispel it except you. Why? Because Krishna is Bhagavan. Krishna is Bhagavan. Tvad-anyaḥ saṁśayasyāsya chettā nahi upapadyate. Very nice word, actually. You know what? This is the meaning of Guru Sharanagati, right? Surrender to the spiritual master. That if you think within your mind, so that someone else can also do this. Someone else can also free me from illusion. Then you cannot actually take shelter of someone. To take shelter of someone, we need to be convinced that he has the key to my problem. He has the key to my problem, solution to my problem, and he only has the solution to my problem. Now, it might appear a little unrealistic, impractical, how only he can have a solution. So that is pretty unique. So that is what actually happens in a disciple. He feels only you can give me love for Godhead, because I feel you have it. And I don't see anyone else who possesses it as much as you do. Unless someone feels like that, why would someone take shelter of a spiritual master? It's not possible. So I would say it very honestly. When I started listening to Srila Prabhupada, I felt everyone was wrong. Not everyone is as right as Prabhupada, to put it more even right. So because I felt some people are sentimentally devotionalists, but they are not Vedantically devotionalists. Some people are Vedantic, but they have not come to the point of devotion. Right? So there is no firmness in anyone's speech that I would like to, that I see as much as Prabhupada has. Very frank, very, very open, very straightforward, and very realized, and continuously talking only about Krishna. No politics, nothing, no other taste. So when we see the struggle of Prabhupada, when we read Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, how many of you here have read Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita cover to cover? And I think you should, everyone should actually. So please don't delay this. It's a very easy read. If you're reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, then Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita would be like a cakewalk. It's very easy. It reads like a novel. So it's very easy to read and it's very inspiring read. So an easy to read plus inspiring read is Prabhupada Lila Amrita. I remember finishing it in maybe like 4 weeks, 6 volumes. And it was such a fast read for me back in 2008, 2009. So it very, it will force you to dedicate your life to Srila Prabhupada. You would exactly understand what sort of a personality is. And if you postpone reading it, you're delaying your dedication to Prabhupada, literally. Right? It would make a very tremendous transformation in your life just by reading Prabhupada Lilamrita. So this feeling is required. Krishna, if you don't protect me, if you don't tvad-anyaḥ saṁśayasyāsya chettā nahi upapadyate. Tvad-anyaḥ, you, apart from you, saṁśayasyāsya, this saṁśayaṁ cannot be overcome. Of course, this cannot apply to anyone. This can apply to a devotee because a devotee is a pure devotee of pure follower of another devotee and another devotee all the way back to Krishna. So apart from Krishna, no one can give knowledge about Krishna. No, there is one person who has heard from Krishna, he can give knowledge about Krishna. Or who has heard from a person who has heard from Krishna, he can give knowledge about Krishna. So only 2 people can give knowledge about Krishna or the reality, Krishna or one who has heard from Krishna, period. Praptam. So no one will know what happens to a soul after he leaves the body, or no one would know the nature of what will happen, when he gets liberated or not. Because Indra, someone could argue, right? Indra might know whether what is his next body, but Indra might not know whether someone has become liberated or not. Correct? Because he's not liberated. So only Krishna knows whether someone is liberated or not. So Arjuna wants to know what happens to this unsuccessful transcendentalist. Does he become liberated? What happens to him? Does he come back? Does he stay here? What happens? So Krishna, whatever he says, will be final, because there are a lot of opinions on so many things. Even among spiritual circles, people have different opinions. People have opinions on Sankhya, people have opinions on nature of spirit, people have so many opinions. Like if you see, for instance, Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra is a monist. Ashtavakra's opinion is that there is no difference between the soul and the super soul. That's what he mentions in Ashtavakra Gita. I don't know if that's authentic or not, but I see it's being quoted a lot often. So, and that's his opinion. He's a monist, more or less. Prabhupada also writes in one of the purports. Ashtavakra is a monist. Ashtavakra means he's got deformities in 8 places. Vakra means deformed. Ashta means 8. He's deformed in 8 places. So Ashtavakra's opinion is that the soul and the super soul are completely non-dual. They are the same entity, but they appear different because of avidya and maya. Just like Ghata Akasham and Phata Akasham. The Akasham, the space inside a pot, and space outside a pot are the same space. It is only because of the pot, the space inside and space outside appear to be different. If you break the pot, the space inside and the space outside become the same. Now this might be Ashtavakra's opinion, but Krishna definitely doesn't agree. Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. He says, my Amsha, which is Jiva Loke, which is Jiva Bhuta, is Sanatana Jiva Bhuta. Krishna also mentions, Yasmat Ksharamati-toham Aksharadapi Chottama Ato Asmi Loke Vete Cha Pratita Purushottama Dvadvamo Purusho Loke Ksharastakshare. So there are living entities who are non-liberated, there are living entities who are also liberated. So liberation does not mean that the living entity loses the state of being a Jivatma. He's still a Jiva, and he's still Shesha. He's still the servant of the Lord in all times and all places and all circumstances. Krishna also mentions in the Uddhava Gita, Jivasya ekasya mama amshasya. Ekasya eva mama amshasya. What is the nature of the Jiva? Ekasya eva. He's qualitatively one with me, but mama amshasya. But he's also my part and parcel, my amsha. So it's very clear. He's the amshi, we are the amsha. It's very clear. So I'm just giving an example. So there can be various topics on which other sages might have differing opinions, and Krishna doesn't discourage that, because in Uddhava Gita, Krishna mentions different people who are different sages who have opinions on Sankhya, it is fine, right? Some Sankhya, some sages are mentioning there are 8 elements, some sages are mentioning there are 24, some sages are mentioning there are 16. So Krishna mentions, doesn't, what do you say? The right word is, he does not condemn, he doesn't vilify, he doesn't say, okay, if you have a different opinion, then you're damned. Not like that. But Krishna's opinion, he shares. That's why many places in Bhagavad Gita, it's very interesting to see, Krishna himself says, Me matamitam nityam. It is my opinion. Like you're asking Krishna, why are you saying it's your opinion? Why can't you say that's the truth? Because Krishna is very modest. Krishna says, that's my opinion. You might have another opinion. It might be whatever it is. But if you ask me, this is my opinion. Right? Krishna mentions it very famously in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna asks, who's better? Right? Is a person who's worshipping in a formless manner or with form? What is better? Krishna says, if you ask me, that's what I think. What? A person who's worshipping me in devotion, I feel is more closer to me. That's what Krishna says. Now, someone might disagree and might have a different opinion. But it's okay, but it's not still the topmost opinion, right? So the point is, we want to understand what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad. That's why we read Bhagavad Gita. So though the Upanishads are there, it is not the direct perspective of Krishna. That is why I'll just finish with this. So there is something called Paurushayam, there is something called Apaurushayam, there is called Paramapaurushayam. Paurushayam means what we called as Smritis are called Paurushayam, right? Mahabharata, because they are written by an author. So it's called Paurushayam. Apaurushayam means that which doesn't have any author. So those are the Shrutis. So Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is called Paramapaurushayam because it is even beyond Paurushayam and Apaurushayam. Because it is coming from the beautiful lotus face of the lotus mouth of the Lord, right? So it's got a very specific, it's got direct contact with the lotus lips of the Lord. So we are reciting. So whoever is reciting Bhagavad Gita every day, Haribol to them, because you are repeating every day those beautiful verses that emanated from the beautiful lotus lips of the Lord. And you're repeating that very same verse. What an amazing thing we are doing, right? So that's what I wanted to say today. Let's stop here. Any questions or comments? I will. Okay, thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.